Today's warm-up has us practicing all the different ways to solve a integer subtraction problem. So here's our given. We have this more simple problem, if you will, that we're going to be solving using our chip model and the number line. And then one that really we can't solve using a chip model or a number line, and we're going to be using the subtraction rule. So the first thing we're going to do is solve this one using our chip model. So I have my chips here. So the first thing I notice is that I've got positive 9 chips. So I need to draw out all of those. Wait a second. I do want to draw those using yellow because my positive chips are yellow. So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 positive chips. And this here says that I need to take away 4 negative chips. Well, obviously I don't have 4 negative chips here. The only thing that I can add to this and not change positive 9 would be 0. So instead of 0, I'm going to add a 0 pair, because as soon as I add a 0 pair, I will have some negatives there. So a 0 pair, I've got 1 0 pair here. Now I know usually our negative chips are red, but red doesn't really work on this purple background, so I put in orange just to be clear here. But regardless, I now have 1 negative chip. I need 4, so I need to keep adding 0 pairs until I get to 4 negatives. Only have 2. Now I have 3. And here we go. Now I have 4 negative chips to take away. So I take those away. And I am left with my original 9, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 chips, plus my 4 new positive chips. So that's 10, 11, 12, 13. So therefore my answer is positive 13. Okay, so next I want to solve this very same problem using the number line model. So the first thing I'm going to do is draw the beginnings of my number line. I'm not going to put any numbers on it because I need to decide what numbers to put on there. And I know that I need to label my start, my face, move, and of course where we end. That's our final answer. So when I look at the original problem, I've got start, face, move, and then end would be here. So first of all, where are we starting? Well, we're starting at positive 9. So since I'm starting at positive 9, I'm going to put that right in the middle of my number line because I don't know yet which way I'm walking. Now our face tells us, well, our face is subtraction, so because we're subtracting, we're going to face to the left. Remember, we only face left or right. And I'm going to put in parentheses here. The reason I know that is because I'm subtracting. And then, okay, so I'm going to face. So I need to make sure I very clearly draw an arrow here to show which way I'm facing. Many of you are not keeping all of these steps in. They're very simple, and you get to keep track of everything that you're doing. So you definitely want to make these labels here, and you certainly want to make sure you draw your pictures properly so that you can look back at it and know what you did. Now we need to move. That is a negative number, so that means that we're going to move back. And of course, we're going to move back 4 because it is negative 4. I'm going to put in parentheses just so that when you look back at this, that we're doing that because it's a negative number. So that means we're moving in this direction. I'm facing to the left, so therefore back will be to the right. And I know that I'm moving 4 places. So I'm going to count 1, 2, 3, 4. Count those out. I've got positive 10, positive 11, positive 12. I have now ended on positive 13. And I really should take a moment and say, well, is that the same answer that I got when I used the chip model? And it is, because of course if it isn't, I need to go back and say, wait a minute, what went wrong? Okay, next, we need to apply our subtraction rule. So whenever I have a subtraction problem, and I'm using my rule, I get to do the cha-cha-cha. So I get to stay, change, change, cha-cha-cha. So this one stays. Stay, change, change. Don't forget to cha-cha-cha so that you can get it right. And it's also fun to do. So stay means negative 87 stays exactly the same. Change, subtraction into addition. And change means that becomes a positive number. So now I pretend that this original problem didn't exist, and I'm going to focus only on addition now. Now I'm going to add. So now I need to think about those addition rules. And I know if the signs are the same, no, they aren't the same, they're different. So if the signs are different, find the difference. So I'm going to be finding the difference here. Okay, first, before I find the difference, I need to find the absolute values of both of these. The absolute value of negative 87 is 87, and the absolute value of positive 23 is 23. Remember, absolute value simply means how far away is that number from 0, so therefore it can never be negative. And now I'm finding the difference. That means I'm subtracting. So if I've got 87 minus 23, I can break that into parts and say 80 take away 20 would give me 60. 7 take away 3 would give me 4. So my answer is 64, but I'm not done yet. I have to say which one of these two is the larger absolute value. Of course, it's this, the 87, which means my answer needs to be negative. And my final answer is negative 64.